Welcome to a quick tutorial on how to get Unreal Gold set up and running under Linux. I'm currently running Linux Mint right now, so if you're running anything that's basically based off of Ubuntu 22.04, the steps that I do now should be pretty, relatable to whatever version you're running, and probably even other ones that aren't based off of Ubuntu 22.04 because a lot of things nowadays are fairly similar with some differences. Now, the way I got Unreal Gold working under Linux is I use Lutris. And I know Lutris is available on many different platforms. So I'm just going to show you the way that I got it working that worked best for me. Now, there are ways of getting the native Linux version running, but I personally had issues with it, and I'll address those here momentarily. But anyway, so I've linked up my GOG account with Lutris, and so what I can do is I can go ahead and just hit install here. And so what you'll see here is there's actually several different versions that it wants to install. First one you see here, a native i386 Linux version, 227i Linux. It's got the basically not the newest patch for Unreal, or community patch, I should say. So what I do is go down here and do the standard wine, nothing special about it at all, Unreal, and hit install. And then, I'm just going to keep everything as, default for this area right here. We'll go ahead and skip the extra things. Continue. Okay, so now you can see there the download is done, and I'll probably trim that down quite a bit, and it just goes into launching the install pretty much automatically. Still running things in the background. All right, so here you just basically hit yes and install, and it'll do its thing real quick. The game itself, without patches or HD textures, is actually pretty small. I think it's less than a gig if I'm not mistaken. Though I could verify that after it gets done installing. All right, when it does this, a lot of times I like to make sure to go over here because this gets hidden in the background, and just go ahead and hit exit for now. All right, so now it's done, so we're just going to hit close on this. All right, there's still some stuff we need to do to get it going, but yeah, out of curiosity, let's check that out real quick. Oh, 1.3 gigabytes. It's huge. Anyway, we're going to install the patch. What you see here, I have Unreal Patch 227J, and I'm going to go ahead and show you where to get that real quick. So you can go to oldunreal.com and just click on Downloads, and then click on Unreal itself, and then right there, latest version J, and that's the one you want to download. Initially, when I played the game, I was trying to run it with the DirectX 11 renderer, which is not compatible with the latest version of the Unreal Community Patch. At this point, I would probably recommend using the Community Patch to get all the best bug fixes and everything out of the way. So anyway, that's what I use here for that. So now we're going to install it, and you can do that through Lutris as well. And I think I clicked on the wrong area. I did. So we're going to click on Run Executable inside the wine prefix, and you just basically point to the folder that you have it in. I have it in Unreal Mods. So there's the executable. All right, and then it pops up. So you would do this whether you want to run it via Wine or the native version of native Linux executable. So basically just go through here, hit next, next. Now, I mean, you can leave all this stuff checked if you want. I mean, I don't really need the editor or the old weapons. I don't really care for any of that. But you do want to select the Linux files in case you want to try to run the native Linux version. I guess maybe if you were running something that was running an ARM processor, you could select that. But I'm not, so that's what I'm going to select here. And then basically just install it. Okay, so now we're complete on the installation. We'll just hit finish rather than play because, okay, I've always gotten this error message every time I run it too, so no big deal. Just hit OK. So the next thing you want to do for Unreal Gold to get it up to basically where I was at is you want to install the high definition textures, which you get from this website here. And you know what? I'll go ahead and put both these links down in the description for this video as well. But you'll go down here to the HD textures, and you want to do the recommended version, basically. Now, I went with the LE version because I don't have a 4K monitor, and there's no reason for me to download that big of a version. So I downloaded the 2 gig version, but if you're running something with a lot more muscle than my computer, then feel free to download the 4K version. The alternate versions down here would not work with the 227J patch, but if you're running the DirectX 11 renderer, this is the version of the HD texture pack you want to basically use. And I'm not really sure what this one's about. It's using S3 texture stuff, which is something from way back in the 90s. So who knows? Maybe it works. I don't know. But anyway, the one here at the top is the one I downloaded for Unreal. So anyway, I've already unzipped it here. And so all you need to do is just copy this textures folder. And you want to go here into Drive C, GOG Games. Well, if you're installing it via GOG, I should say, the path may be different if you're installing it via Steam as an option. In fact, it probably will be different. So we're going to go ahead and merge and replace all the files that have the same name. Okay, so now the textures are all copied over and we should be good to go to play it, right? Not exactly. But you will see that the size jumps up to 4.4 gigabytes. So much more massive. Not really, but it's still pretty big. There is one flag that you had to do, that I had to do, excuse me, to get Unreal working under Linux. And let me go to Configure. And there's literally just one radio button to click on. This one right here, Prefer System Libraries. Uncheck that. And then go ahead and hit Save. And that makes all the difference in the world. So when I hit play on this, it probably should ask me to set up all the renderer and the audio. And for some reason, I can't get audio to work in Unreal while I'm recording. So there probably won't be any audio at all in this when I hit the play button, but pull it up anyway for you. Just know that the audio does work as long as you're not trying to conflict with OBS Studio. So anyway, I did X OpenGL support. I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess it's got more features than the normal OpenGL, so just go with that. And you could probably leave the default audio. I mean, I tried all 4 of these, and none of them would work with the recording device. So I'll just leave it on default. And then we'll hit next, next, go. So there you have it. That's Unreal running with HD textures and using Wine under Linux. Now, obviously, I haven't changed the resolution or anything. I think it's on a pretty low resolution right now. Yeah, 1024 by 768. But you can also play with a lot of the stuff here. I mean, for me, I pretty much pumped up everything to max, and my computer's pretty old, but it worked pretty well for me. So that's how I would probably, if I was going to play this under Linux and wasn't recording, that's how I would set it up. And the sound works perfectly fine. Everything works really good. Now, if you want to play this natively under Linux, well, I had a couple of issues. And I'll go ahead and bring this up real quick. So the 227J patch actually put some stuff here in the help folder. So it has these convenience libs.tar.bz file up here. And so to get this running natively under Linux, you just go to these convenience libs and you extract them into the appropriate system. So in this case, I'm going to extract system into here. All right. And system 64 into the same place. Okay. And that's what will get it running mostly. So let me go ahead and go into that folder. You have to do a little bit of command line work to get this to work. So I'll go with the 32-bit version first, because this one I can actually get to work just without sound. And that may be because I'm running a 64-bit version of the operating system. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But if you look at the files here, see, that's it right there. So, oops, I didn't want to do that. The executable you want to run is Unreal.ini. As you can tell by default, it's not executable. So you just need to make that executable real quick. All right, and if I try to run it now, it'll probably crash on me. All right, so going into my history, I realized I purged a package that's kind of needed, unfortunately, for this. And so this is the package that you need to install to get it working for the 32-bit version of the game. libvorbis file 3 I386, because I believe by default the 64-bit version is installed, but not the 32-bit. All right, should be pretty quick. So let's try running that command again. All right, and that's kind of what I expected, because I do get audio messages all the time when I try to run it. But it does work if you do the, I believe it's no sound. There you go. No sound 32-bit version works. So if you want to try troubleshooting this a little bit better, it may work on a 32-bit system. I just honestly don't know. I tried the ALSA sound. I tried Fmod sound. Nothing I would do could get it working for me, basically. And my gut feeling is it's because I'm running a 64-bit operating system and not 32-bit. Could be mistaken there, but that's my guess at this point. Otherwise, it would probably require a lot more troubleshooting than I'm willing to put forth at this point. But I mean, it runs perfectly in the 32-bit version. That's really small text, but it does run perfectly. And that was actually at 1080p, so it went straight with my monitor resolution, which is really nice. Now, I can't get the 64-bit version to run, but I'm going to show y'all why. But once again, we need to do the whole chmod on the bin file. When I try to run it now, this thing just crashes automatically. And it doesn't even put any log file information in because it just will not start, and you get that core dumped every single time I try to run it. And after doing a little bit of research online, it turned out that the reason why I can't get this to run is because I'm running a 3rd generation i7 CPU, and apparently, however the author of the patch, how they compiled it, it was using a special instruction set on the CPU that my CPU is so old that it doesn't have that instruction set. I'm not sure exactly what the instruction set is, but if you're running a newer CPU, then this may actually work for you, and you might be able to run Unreal natively, the 64-bit version. So ideally, that would be the best version of the game to run, so that you do get the best of memory management and 64-bit, all that fun jazz. But I just couldn't get it to run, so I just wanted to go ahead and show real quick what was needed to get this running natively under Linux. So I think it would work better if you're running a 32-bit version of Linux. Then the 32-bit version should work with sound, I would assume. I just can't test that out right now. And if you had a appropriate CPU with the correct instruction set, you could run the 64-bit version, so you could run it natively. Having said that, though, I think it is easiest to install it via Lutris for both the game and the patch via Lutris, and that when you install the patch, you just automatically select the Linux system files that you want to run to get it to work on that architecture. I mean, theoretically, I could try this on, like, I don't know. I was going to say my phone, but that's Android, so I probably wouldn't do that. Who knows? I mean, I know there's a lot of ARM devices out there, but I'm not too familiar with them. But anyway, this should work for you all. And I will say that for me, testing-wise, before trying to get the recording working, it worked absolutely perfectly via Wine and Lutris, basically running the Windows version of the software. I had no problems running it. Sound worked great. Video worked great. Obviously, at the time when I tried to run my saves were incompatible with the new patch, so you can't go from 227i to 227j and the saves work. It just won't. It'll just crash immediately every single time. But other than that, it worked perfectly. I just think that the way this game implements audio via ALSA, there's a big conflict with it and OBS Studios. And so when OBS is running, there's no sound getting pushed to Unreal. And I mean, I did a lot of research, but after about, a full day of trying to troubleshoot it, I said, okay, that's fine. I give up because I can at least run it under Windows and get sound and the recording. And it's literally just this game that I couldn't get sound and recording working on OBS, which is a shame because I did want to play it under Linux, but it is what it is. But as long as you're not trying to record anything, I think that this setup via Lutris, it's really not that difficult. It's actually pretty easy to do. Native Linux may or may not work for you, but I can say from my perspective, Wine works perfectly, and you may just be good enough going with just pure wine at this point. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Sometimes that hangs up.